He was a surveyor. Dickinson surveying.
Actually, he surveyed this property
in
Oh, yeah.
my house.
when it was originally built.
Okay, what's last now?
Clicker.
I got it.
You got
I
it?
got mine going.
Thank you.
Okay.
Required, but hey, you know.
All right.
Yep.
Good evening, all. Sorry for the delay. Welcome to the town board meeting, April 9th, 2024. Please rise. Jim Niles will lead us in a salute.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilwoman McMahon,
Present.
Councilman Hanlon,
Here.
Councilman Niles.
Here.
Supervisor Merlino.
Here. All right, we'll open the floor for any questions on some of our we only have 2 resolutions. Any questions on them? You have a question on the resolutions?
Well, you were gonna talk about a couple.
Well, wait, I got to do the resolution first. Okay, so there's no questions on the resolutions. All right, now we have a public discussion on Reservoir Road. Now you can come up.
Are you gonna do the speed limit changes as well?
I can't hear you, sir.
You gotta come up to the microphone.
Name is Brent. I'm from Lake Luzerne. So I thought Reservoir Road was one of the things, but I also thought the speed limit change. We were gonna have a discussion about that.
Well,
Okay.
that's all part of it.
Okay.
It says it
Um,
right on the agenda.
Okay, so speed limit changes. I had 9 roads on there. I just kind of wanted to tell you where I was coming from with that. Basically, you guys are going to do a 9N corridor study, right? That was part of your comprehensive plan. And I figured since that's going to happen, this might be good to do speed limit tests on a lot of the roads that come off of 9N. Again, this is just what I was thinking. It might be a good time to do it because you're going to be doing that corridor study. You know, you're gonna be looking at pedestrian safety, things like that. And these 9 roads were the ones that I thought, in my mind, would be good to look at. I had originally started with just 4.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. I thought it was just 4. Now it's
It
not.
was 4, but I changed it.
I don't have them here, but
I sent it a while ago. I mean, it was the 22nd of March that I sent the 9. And I have packets if you want them. I know you sometimes don't want paper. So I have 5 printed off with the 9 roads on it if you
yeah,
want.
we can take them now.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Brent, what's the study we're gonna be doing that you're referring to?
Well, you are doing a 9N corridor study, right? As part of the comprehensive plan, that was one of your main priorities, was to do a 9N corridor study.
So what you're saying is one of the 10 or 15 things that the comprehensive plan suggested was a 9N corridor study.
Yeah, it was like, there was like 8.
That doesn't mean it's gonna be done. It means that they suggested.
That was one of your priority goals, so maybe it's not a definite thing that's gonna get done. If it doesn't get done, this would be good to do anyway, but I thought the 2 kind of went together. The 2
Yeah,
I-
well,
I-
what you said, it'd be done, good to do anyway. If we got
Thank you.
9, we have to write them all up and send them to the county DPW, who'll send them to the state. And then they'll research
I
it.
have
Make sure.
printed it.
Wait,
Just
you got one?
so everybody knows, he's talking about Howell Road, Towner Road, Reed Park Road,
I'll take one.
Lake Tour Road, River Road,
They're all spoken of.
Thomas Road, Galley Hill Road, Old Stage Road, Potash Road.
So just like starting from my basic thoughts, like all these roads run off the 40-mile-an-hour section of 9N. So like Potash, Old Stage, those are directly connected to 9N. And those are 45 miles an hour. So Potash and Old Stage are 45 and 9N is 40. So that that didn't really make a lot of sense to me. If your primary road that's cutting through town is 9N and that's 40 miles an hour in that section, and you have Old Stage and Potash coming off at 45. And also when I drive those roads, those two I'm talking about first, that seems a bit fast for Potash and Old Stage, 45 miles an hour. So I was thinking if they tested them, they might come up with something lower than that. So that's those two. Continuing on off of those two, you have Thomas, which is a bike route. So that was one of my main reasons for possibly having that one lowered. Again, they're gonna have to test it. But that was one of the reasons for that one. River Road, it's a bike route and it's dirt. And there's a lot of recreational activities on there. I think that one's 40, like Ron, you might know better than me, but I think it's 40 in that dirt section where it hits Thomas. So there's like not even any road.
So I don't even think there is a speed limit sign, so it's gonna be state, it's gonna be 55.
Yeah, so that's so that's high. Right?
Yeah, for that area. The
So,
dirt.
yeah,
I'll give you when you're said about River Road, I'll give you some support. There's some parts that should be 30. I
yeah,
agree.
yeah, I
I mean,
mean,
there's imperfections on roads that we have. I mean, in future, looking in the future. On a case by case study, like you could sit on River Road and I could drive right now and go, yeah, right here should be 30. Come on.
yeah,
Really? By the old red schoolhouse 40? Really?
yeah,
You just don't get run over there. And you're right. That is becoming a high recreation. Remember, because last time we talked about like the bikes and I said River Road up through there.
Yeah.
That's developing into there's people all over that road.
Yeah.
walking. All over all year.
It was 55 at one time.
I know.
We got it down to 40.
Yeah.
yeah, the last road sign I saw is 40, but I know, like we said, if there's no road sign, it's 55 pretty much. That's the rule, right?
Up until you get to the dirt. I think just before the dirt section, there is a 40.
Right.
But they just did a study on that. We changed it down to 40 recently.
Okay,
So for them to do it again, to go down even more,
Well, I mean, he did a job to do this for us. This is not we don't make the speed limits, it's the state.
yeah, and they said pretty much if you hadn't tested in the last 3 years, you should just send it. I mean, you guys do what you want. I'm not
Well,
saying you have to do
We
anything.
can, it's up to the board if they want to move this forward to,
yeah, you
and
gotta send
and go to,
Steve.
Yeah, send a letter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
send a letter,
County and
the county sends it to the state. That's what,
Yeah, I know it's not a given, like East River Drive, you know how long it took for them to change that one, so,
something was wrong there.
Yeah,
That got done awful quick.
yeah.
that took like 4 months.
Normally they take a year, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Rose Avenue took 2 years
Yeah,
to go from 55 to 30. Which made a ton of sense.
yeah. And so so that's what, those roads is what I was thinking, River Road, I don't know what will happen, but those were the thoughts on that one. Howe Road, Lake Tor Road going to the other side of 9N. Those are both bike routes. And it's gonna be hard to come up with, like, I've made comments about 4-foot shoulders for bike routes before, but I can understand why that may not be able to happen. There's streams, there's water running all over the place, and like sometimes you might not want to make the roads wider because then you're gonna have more runoff. So like, I don't know if there's even room to have wider shoulders on Howe and Lake Tor.
Right.
So my thought was maybe they drop the speed limit, you know, it's 40 seems a little fast. There's a lot of hills, there's a lot of turns, curves on Howe Road and Lake Tor Road. You also had like Howe, you've got the rodeo, you've got that one section, there's horseback riding, and there's just a lot of stuff going on in that first section of Howe Road up from Lake Luzerne. So maybe they wouldn't change on it all, but maybe there's pieces that they would change. But that's where I was coming from with Howe and Lake Tor. Counter, I mean, that's a wide road, that's like 25 feet or 26, so I threw that on here because that's what connects 9N to like Lake Tor and Howe. So that's why I put Towner on there, but that's one you know, I could see possibly not getting dropped, but that's why I put it there, is because it connects to the other ones, and I was trying to have the flow stay within 5 miles an hour of each other. Reed Park. That's pretty hilly and curvy, so again, that's another one that connects 9N to either Lake Tour or Howe Road, one of those. So that's where I was coming from on all of them. Like, I could see not all of them getting dropped, but I thought they were all reasonable. That's why I put.
Well, if anything, it puts a spotlight on, like I said, I've seen, you know, micro instances, you know, sections of like, again, River Road as an example, I could, you know, we could. It puts, it, you know, if we ever comes in the future, if we can, look at something closely. I mean, yeah, I mean. It's difficult on a, you know, 10,000 foot view to look at the way the town is, but if you want to get down on the ground and drive roads, yeah, you could get arguments all day long about the speed of some of the places. You know, the law says 40, but you can name it 40, but should it be 40? Should it be 40? Yeah, you know, then it comes down to that. Then reason comes in. Maybe, you know, going forward, we can, you know, if an issue comes up, we want to look at roads, or it's something that could be looked at, you know, seriously.
Yeah, hopefully they'll test them and from what I've read, they can test them in a couple different ways. It depends on how they categorize the road, but that's kind of the stuff I wrote up here. I tried to get technical, but really it comes down to, you know, the second column, current speed, and the last column, change requested. I tried to take some things out of different standards I've looked at to come up with my rationale of why I went from what it is to what it should be. But I mean, it sounds like the state and the county are gonna have to make that decision themselves.
If it's a designated bike route, does that mean it has signs that say that? And secondly,
It seemed,
what does it mean practically to be designated bike route? Are they getting a lot of bicycle use?
I mean, I could tell you what I think it means, but like signage wise, seems like Ron, I mean, what you guys designated a bike route, right? That was you guys?
Yeah.
And so they designated a bike route.
Who
And
did?
you don't have to, and from what I've read, you don't have to have they recommend that if you're gonna do that and you have a 40 miles an hour, that you have 4-foot shoulders, but you don't have. It's like. And he's put up other signs also that say shared road, which is like a countermeasure, which you're supposed to do.
Because bikes too historically have right to be on a road with pedestrians, you know,
Right.
traffic law, yeah.
It's just that at 30 miles an hour, that shared road concept, it works a lot better at 30 miles an hour than it does at 40.
Yeah. I think it would be nice to be able to ride bikes more safely around town.
Yeah, and to answer your question, I ride that road all the time. How to Lake Tour, it's an enjoyable ride, and I do it. I'm gonna keep doing it at 40, but like you start talking about families and kids and stuff.
There's no shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, it's just safer if it's 30.
So Ron, your highway department made the decision to designate some of these roads, bike roads?
We had a grant and, someone from the hospital, I believe, they came in and they proposed the bike route. And then we put the signs up on that. I believe she was.
What would they know? Yeah, what would they know? What would they know about the area?
Would it have been Pam Warren? Do you-
No.
No,
No?
How long ago was that roughly?
It was
I mean, 3 years, 10 years,
five,
just roughly.
5-6 years maybe.
five or plus. Yeah.
But since it is designated a bike route, that I don't know, I mean, that might make them more apt to change the speed limit. I don't know how it works,
Yeah.
but maybe that could help lower the speed limit. But so those 4 roads are Lake Tour, Howe on that side, and then on this side, River and Thomas. And I think Thomas is 40 or 45, I don't even know.
Yeah.
There wasn't
Just,
something-
just repeat them. So I'm gonna mark them on here. So when I send them to the county DBW, those are our preference.
Okay,
Right.
so the bike routes were Howe,
All right, I'll call that one. Go ahead.
Lake Tour,
Back to the fall festival.
River,
River.
That was in the second grouping.
Yeah,
River Road, okay, 3.
And Thomas,
Thomas is
that should be in the
here.
second grouping also. That should be with River on that page.
Thomas, that's 4. So if I had to pick, he asked for 4, those are the ones we're looking for first. And the other 5 or so.
I mean,
Could be
that's,
second.
that, in my mind, that would be, that's what, those were the 4 I sent you first. But then when I thought about it more, the other 5 made sense too. So yeah, that's the way it happened in my mind.
I suspect Gene's thinking, because I was gonna ask this. I suspect his thinking is it might be better to do this piece by piece with the state.
And if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna start out just by driving the roads, the hot road right now for biking on is River Road up in the Buttermilk. Big time, just big time.
The thing
Got
is,
good shoulders. You look at the shoulders in that road, you just, the brush is knocked out. Mountain for mountain bike, natural like sand.
yeah, Reservoir Road's got, see, that's the
Reservoir,
thing
yeah.
about, or not, no, River
I
Road, sorry.
mean,
It's wide, but it's unpaved, so.
Yeah,
it-
which, you know, for different grades biking, you know, you get into, then you get into your mountain bike and stuff up into the.
Yeah, no, it's
Or
good.
it's really
Yeah,
nice, I mean.
I agree. It's good for biking.
It's
it's
all the
just
time when I was
keep
young,
back.
I used to go up there all the time.
And I went up the one that you talked about, the one that's in Warrensburg, the Gate
Yeah.
Pond Road.
That's nice, that's cool.
I did check that one out
You go up there this year?
last summer.
Yeah, I don't know, I was wondering if you've been up it lately. It's just been tore up.
Nope.
I know they tore it up pretty good there.
But the reason, like, I was thinking what you just said, maybe start with less, but one of the things it said in this thing is how they go about doing the testing. They sent it, I asked for the process from the county and they sent me over this thing. It's PSMI 17-05. It's just basically outlines the process for getting speed limit changes. And one of the things it talked about is they wanted the changes to have for a good flow of traffic. So if you went 30, for example, on Lake Tor Road, and then you didn't change either Reed Park
Yeah.
or,
I hear you.
so it might,
One-
that
one-
might be why they got shot down in the past on someone,
One
because they
bone
didn't,
connects to another bone.
that might have been why some of them didn't get through in the past,
Yeah.
because they didn't have an overall network plan.
And what is the projected speed limit you guys are gonna be asking for?
I know which one.
Are they all gonna be the same or? different?
No,
He's
there's
got 'em in
There's a
here.
couple of different, most of them are 30, but
I basically, all of them I was dropping between 5 and 10. And I basically didn't say specifically in my mind what it had to be. It depends on how they designate the road, so. Some of them it might be 5, some of them might be 10, but if they dropped 1 to 10, you know, like they dropped Lake Tor to 10, then Reed Park was still 40. I don't know, that'd
Makes
be a
sense.
pretty big jump. That's why I put Reed Park and the other ones in there.
all
But
right.
yeah,
well,
you guys make the call on that. I don't, if you only sent 4, I just wanted.
But I like to send the whole report.
Right.
That you did. You did spend time on it.
Okay,
But we marked the ones that are what we
Higher
agree to
priority.
be priority. And let's see what they respond to.
okay. Okay.
No
Right.
guarantees.
No, I sent it, the county already has it, because I wasn't sure how this worked.
Who'd you send it to at the county?
The head,
Hey, Joe's?
yeah,
Kevin?
yeah.
Okay, then I'll call him and make sure.
Yeah, so he has this.
We have to do it here first,
Yep, that's what he
with a
told me.
letter, and then go back.
He told me that but he has it, so he'll recognize it when you send it.
All right, that sounds good. All
Right.
right, thank you.
Thanks.
Everybody in agreement? I don't think you need a resolution. This just goes to them.
I think you need a
Do
resolution.
you,
I
Mary,
think
you think,
he said
do we
that.
need a resolution to ask the state to do this?
Done a resolution.
Okay, so I need a motion.
Make a
Uh,
motion.
I make a motion, we authorize the supervisor to send a speed limit study request to the county for the 9 roads mentioned in Mr. Reed's report to us.
Yeah, you jumped on it. Yeah.
Get a second on that?
Go ahead, want to try it?
A second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carries.
Okay.
Okay, so thanks for that.
Then you have another request here for,
The other one was Reservoir Road.
right,
Basically, at the agenda meeting, it sounded like there might have been, but I wasn't sure if there was a decision on it or not. It kind of sounded like a quick decision on it, and I was kind of looking for maybe more of an explanation. Obviously, you can do whatever you want.
well,
But-
there was no discussion, it was discussion. I know I made a comment, I'm not really for it, but now that I investigated it more, and I'll even give you a copy,
Okay,
that Reservoir Road is not an open road to the public.
okay,
All right, and I'll, I'll give you this, you're welcome to it. Our engineer over there put all this up for me, because that road goes through a lot of private property.
Yep.
So it's, I know it was done way before my time, but it is done that the snowmobile club could use that,
okay.
and there's a gate there that stops anybody else.
So the road itself, that's what I couldn't figure out by looking through different things at county. So you're saying the road is actually a private road?
I don't think it's ever been called a private road because it was given a name. Reservoir Road, but it crosses, and I'll give you this to look at. Quite a few properties.
So
They
you have an- so
had
you have an
way
easement.
back when, way before our time. They all got approval to allow the snowmobile club to cross those properties. And that's why there's a gate there, so nothing, and we also open a gate in case there's logging done there. We allowed logging trucks get in there and do the logging.
But
because-
that gate is up pretty far, isn't it?
Well, still gets you in the whole length of the Reservoir Road.
Oh, there's a gate at the bottom.
Well, when you, what do you, I'll call you, what's the name of that street, Lake Tour. It starts, I consider it starting there.
Yeah.
Because it comes off of, one of our town roads.
Yes.
When it goes through all of this, it ends up at a piece of our property.
Right.
There's no exit. So,
Right.
Just a question now, there is a snowmobile trail running through it, so there is some sort of easement for the
Right.
snowmobile club to use it.
right.
Now, trails. Now, Mary, would there be a way for a bike club, mountain bike club, to piggy on back through permission as the process for snowmobile club to gain permission through there? Would that be between the landowners
yellow-
and them, or?
My assumption
The
is,
yellow is the road.
okay, I have not looked at this at all. but
Yes, going on that, because you hadn't looked at it.
My assumption is that the snowmobile club probably has agreements with each of these landowners.
Okay.
Some kind of right of way or easement.
All right, and any further use of that would have to be dealt with between private landowners and then the snowmobile club.
Yes, or if mountain bikers want to use it, then the private
Yes.
landowner and the mountain biking club or organization.
Okay, so if they formed an organization and they went around petition and did the groundwork. Said, hey, we're just mountain bikers, we want to do this, because in the Northville Plaza Trail, when I hiked it, you use snow machine trails, you use existing trails and clubs. Roger Saheim has a big, huge club up there. He's a local, lives here. And he does all the roads there. You pass right through there up by, up towards, Terrell Pond, up through there. So it does exist where you could do that. It'd be interesting to see if they could do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that route.
Shared
isn't what-
usage, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that route isn't what I was talking about, though. Like, yeah, if you wanted to
There's
go.
gotta be a way to do
That's
it.
what the snowmobilers probably do, and they actually don't. Their trail doesn't come down to Lake Tor Road through that same avenue that me and you were talking about. It curves off through a private property.
It goes down, yeah, it goes over the other, yeah.
So it's not taking the exact route, but
But it's a thought, it's a stepping stone. Maybe there's a way that's a way to get this.
it
going.
could be. I was hoping like, you looked at the deeds and stuff to know for sure, because you had talked about there was gonna be an amphitheater up there at one point.
That was
So-
about, 10 years ago.
So obviously people are gonna have to be able to get up to that amphitheater somehow, so
Oh, they were gonna make a new road.
they're gonna make a new road
Was.
through a
Didn't
different
happen.
section. Okay, I assumed it was gonna go up that reservoir. All right,
And
Yeah.
that mostly was near Lake Tour Road. The property down by Lake Tour.
all right, yeah,
I mean, it's worth a trip, and I'm gonna give you just how I feel. I just don't know if all these like a lot of the snowmobile club pays some of I don't know if it's any of these. When we go across some of these private property, they pay for the right of way to go across.
Yeah,
you know.
what you said, you're,
But a lot of it, I was involved way back when, people don't mind the snowmobilers. I'm gonna be honest with you, because it's in the winter, snows all over. But in the summertime, it'd be tough to have people going through their property.
Okay.
That's just letting you know from back then when all that stuff was being done.
okay. But as far as the town property, that kind of landlocks it. So as far as the town property up there, then the people who've used it in the past kind of for recreation, that's not a thing anymore, like nobody,
Well, a lot of people use it, and weren't supposed to be used,
okay.
you know.
But nobody technically has the right to use the town property up there
No.
for recreation purposes. Okay,
Nothing that I know of. No, I've only been here 18 years, maybe before me, I don't know.
okay.
Right.
All right, yeah, I
It
mean,
was just a point, that's the reservoir, everybody worries about the reservoirs. Even Glens Falls for a while stopped snowmobile club from going through past their reservoir. But we finally convinced them to allow us to do it, and we'll keep it in shape. Because you're worried about somebody poisoning the water or going into it, it makes them liable. So it's a lot to it, and not just that easy.
all right, so I mean, I guess if you all, one of the main reasons I want to talk about it, just to see that you all agree on what he's saying, basically. So if everybody agrees with it, then, because the first time I brought it up, you had a couple different opinions about how it was used at the point in time. But if everybody agrees now that that's what it is, that's what I was coming for. So I just wanted to see, last time you kind of just said it at the agenda meeting, you just said it quickly and it was over, so,
Oh, that's just my opinion.
yeah,
That's not the board's.
so. I mean, should there be like a vote on it, or how should that
It's
work?
up to the board. If they want to take a vote on using it, that's their prerogative. Somebody wants to make a resolution.
Okay.
But I think you better check it out with the landowners first.
Yeah, it's all contingent upon the landowners. If you can get a grassroots movement going up there, they're like, yeah, it's great, man. We like people going in here. But so, you know what I mean? It's,
Yeah, I don't,
I'm sitting here in the position of anything's possible with that. You don't know. You don't know what to ask.
yeah, I don't think that's not what I'm looking to do. Like, I'm looking for you guys just to make a call on it, like.
What are you asking for?
Yeah,
They
because I'm not
can't give you
sure.
rights to private property.
Yeah, that's.
Well, if
what's-
you have an easement over that property, if you have an easement with rights for the public to go over their property, then yes, kind of you could, correct?
Depends on
Snowmobile
what the
club.
Easement grants
Right,
you.
right, and that's kind of the
So
last,
go and look at the deeds. You have
Yeah.
access to the deeds just like they do. Go to the county, pull them, look at them.
I did look at them, and what I thought, and that's why I was hoping you, in the last like 8 months, they would have you look at it. Like what I got is it looked like it was. There were two different water districts up there, like way back, where there was a private one first, and then you guys had your water district, from what I could tell from the deeds. And it looked like that road. That was the road. It needed to get back there, and then over time, other properties. Filled in around it, those private properties. So it looked like to me. That maybe they had the easements over, they had a right of way on the town road. That's what I thought.
If you have the deeds, why don't you send them? Cause then I can look at them. If I look them up, I have to charge the town for it.
I could send you the map. I mean, I could tell you what the map is. It's the
Oh, the
east.
map is right here. This
It's
is
not the map I need. I need to see the language in the deeds.
Mhm.
Okay,
each one of them.
which map do you have there?
That's a GPS map of that area.
Yeah. The best thing I found, and it said like right of way on that's not good, like.
I need to see what the right of way allows. There's gonna be language in the deed that tells you exactly what the right is.
All right, I'm not gonna be able to find it. I spent quite a bit of time and I couldn't figure that out, so.
Talk to the snowmobile club. Maybe they could help you.
Well, the thing is theirs is different because they
know.
probably do have permission from everybody.
Yeah.
But they'd have a lot of background information
Right.
for you to use. They'd be saying, okay, we did that. This is what kind of land it is. This is arrangements we have. This is arrangement we have, but we're just gonna tell you, they'll just tell you what they have.
Alright.
And you can go over it and flesh out your position.
Okay.
out of
And
that.
here's who you can contact.
Yeah, I know the guy to talk to. Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, that's what I would do. That's the best place. You
Alright.
get more information that way. Now, as far as the town right away, because that was Luzerne Reservoir up there, the old reservoir. I mean, there was a road to get up there. I mean, there's no denying that. I don't have no idea what the legal anything going on with that. I have no idea.
All right. All right, that's, yeah, I wanted to see if you had found out any of the legal stuff basically, and I can do a little more searching on my own. But that was it. So thanks for,
Would you like one of these?
Yeah, why don't you take one?
Yeah, I'll
Go
take it.
ahead.
Color in it.
Absolutely. Yeah, take one.
We try to figure out every piece of property there
okay,
has to go through.
color coding.
Yeah, it's written on the side over there, what each one is.
Thank you.
All right,
All right, thanks, Brent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
all right, the next, we're finished, right? Oh, he's just said, okay. Proposal to pay the bills, we need a,
Well, let me read the
oh, you gotta read it, yeah.
proposed resolution, pay the bills of the sixth abstract of 2024. General fund vouchers 3120 to 3168 in the amount of $21,569.73. Highway fund vouchers 3169 to 3196, $97,594.62. SW1, which is the Lake Luzerne Water District, voucher 3197 at $255.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're gonna table the minutes because I didn't get your minutes.
So we're holding off on
We
that.
better hold off on.
All right. Now to open the floor back to the public. Anybody in the public have anything to say? Nobody on, okay. All right,
Report.
reports, Ron, do,
Oh, God. Had a couple of board members come over and look at one of our vehicles. It's the 2011 Chevy. It's got pieces of the frame rotted out. It's something I don't want to throw good money into. It's got way over, it's over 100,000 miles on it and everything.
I'll save you some time, Ron. I don't think it's worth fixing.
Okay, thank you. Well, with that being said, I would like to dedicate the money that we're doing the work up on the Schofield Flats. I would like to dedicate that money towards a vehicle to replace this vehicle. I'm not looking for anything special, just something off state contract. Terry uses a lot to take parts. We put the fuel tank behind it for the filling up the grader or something when it's way up in Buttermilk. So I just want you to know about that. In 2 weeks, we'll be up on Howe Road grinding the road up. There's a portion up there about a mile that we're gonna rebuild because it's bad. So we'll be doing that. Also, looking at my budget and our numbers and everything, I've got a really good fund balance. And our mini excavator, it needs work. It's an 08. It needs new drive motors because they're getting so weak that it can barely move. And the swing motor in it is starting to go. I've already replaced that once, and that part comes from Korea over there, way over there somewhere. I just don't think that we should put the money into this. Right now, I think we should just throw it on Gov Deals, on the auction site, get what we can for it, take that and just put it towards the price. I got 4 quotes here from different vendors. Milton Cat, John Deere, Doosan.
Thank you.
I would like to stay with John Deere. We have John Deere backhoe, we got John Deere loader. It's been good for us and They're right at exit 11 for parts. The price is right there, close to all the other ones. I just feel that we have substantial fund balance in there. It's good. I don't want to take all of it. I don't want to take half of it. I would like to see this piece of equipment replaced, because we use that more now than we do the loader. Since we went to all salt, that loader doesn't run as half as much as this. We do culverts with it. We ditch with it. We brush with it. So it's growing quite a bit, and like I said, if we don't do this, I gotta put 15,000 into that at least.
How many hours are on it?
I'm not sure, 5,000 or something like that. It's, I can get that for you, because I'm not sure.
Am I reading this right? The John Deere by $1,000 is the cheaper one. The 124 for
Yeah.
Kubota.
That's Kubota. No, Cat's 142.
You got 123 for John Deere.
Yeah.
Cat, go
That
Cat for the
one-
win. Come on, go Cat for the
Devlin,
win.
that Beekman got bought out by Devlin.
Oh, okay.
It's like a. I mean, Doosan, all their parts are from overseas.
Everything, in it. Oh, yeah.
All right, we'd have to formally bid this, right? It's $100,000.
No, because it will be off state contract. It's either, it'll be off state contract or source well. So we won't have to do it, and I'll make sure of that.
What is source well be?
Source well is a contract place. It's just like a state contract.
Do you know what that means, Barry?
It doesn't qualify to exempt you from bidding,
Okay.
but if it's off state contract, it does. And if you want to auction off the other one, just make sure you pass a resolution saying it's surplus.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think? If you owned that one, what would you sell it for?
If I own that one, we'll be lucky to get 15,000 for it. And we bought that, I can't remember if it was 08 or 010 for 40.
Can't trade it in for the new one?
Can we trade it? We won't get the money.
You're not gonna get the money. Yeah, you're not gonna get them unless you sell it out.
I can put it on Go Deals, but I can put a limit on it, We don't get that, at least we can not sell it, but I really don't. I don't know what it's gonna bring. I mean,
Well, if you're,
even the boom on it, the pins that are in there are oblong.
they're out,
Just
yeah, they're
where?
wallowing out.
Just
Yeah.
from where? And if anybody wants to come over, I can even show you. But it's just something that. To take that apart and have a line board, you're looking. Probably almost on your end outside. So it just. We part ways with it, a farmer or something, that would be good for them, but.
What do you expect us to do tonight?
Look at the bids, if you don't wanna. Vote on it tonight, I'm okay with that. If at the agenda meeting you got more questions. That's fine.
Well, I have a question. Is that the money that you want to use for the other vehicle, the 50,000 from the state? When is the state going to give it to you?
From the state,
When are they going to give it to you?
that I'm not sure, they're paying for us all our labor and all our equipment cost. So there is 50,000 there for us.
Have you already earned some of that money?
I didn't turn it in yet, I got it all listed on what we've done.
Why don't you give them a interim bill to see how fast they're gonna pay us?
Yeah,
It's New York State.
That's a good question. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's New York
How
State.
the payment's gonna go.
Yeah.
Or how
You're-
fast
you're-
they are.
Yeah. Next
You're under
year, see
the
you next
impression
year.
that you have to finish it before you can bill it?
Maybe.
I think.
I'll talk to,
Send them an invoice and you'll find out. Just, I was a contractor for 40 years.
All right, so
I'm trying to
let
get
us,
that done.
let us set this up for next week.
Sure.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll get with Lori and we'll,
Yeah, I'll stop over and you can show me the worn out machine.
yeah.
That truck, I talked to Terry. He said that truck would be a good truck to keep for parts for the another one. Terry liked that idea.
Rick's got another
Yeah.
one down there. I'll just give it to Rick. If
Yeah.
Rick wants it, 4 parts, he can use.
Yeah, we can regain some value off it, just some spare parts, you know what I mean? Might as well.
Yeah.
And then get scrap for it at the end of the day.
All right.
Oh, yeah. yeah.
Anything
He said
else,
it was
Ron?
shot. He said, I wouldn't have put
Someone
another.
across me.
Nah, you can't put a guy now. That's dangerous.
No, we're finishing up picking up trees from the snowstorm that fell over from heavy snow. Um. That's about it.
Can I make a comment? I don't wanna get you upset. You know, there's a tree service running around town through National Grid.
Yeah, Lewis,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
Well, I was up at the landfill the other day and there's 2 huge piles of mulched up. And I was told they were given permission to put it there by Jimbo
where is it?
in where we keep our brush.
Out back?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, oh, I don't know, I didn't know.
Well, it's a little late because it's there. It's almost the size of one of our big piles. But they put, nobody should have said something
Oh, yeah,
because
absolutely, I didn't know about that.
What kind of mulch? A good looking mulch?
it's the
Get the
same as
front end
what
loader,
we,
put it out front, free mulch for every.
no, it's the same as the mulch
It's like
we have
sand.
there. What are you kidding? We already got 10 piles of that.
Yeah, I can move it.
But
up
it's in a
front.
in a bad spot. They're just dumping it.
It's an eyesore.
No, it's not an eyesore, but it's just in a bad spot to get around to dump the brush the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I'll move it.
No, just want to bring it up.
Yeah.
I don't think, you know. And we have the other problem with the water turn on, that house. I got some information on it today. I'm gonna bring it to
Good.
Cindy tomorrow. I think we did something wrong, so,
Okay.
but we'll find out tomorrow. A lot of things go on. You just gotta have somebody in control,
Yep.
you know?
Ronnie, how long is the turnaround for the John Deere? If you were to order it,
They might have it in stock down there.
because like the expiration is the end of the month.
Is it?
Yeah.
For that bit, for that whole. Yeah.
Well, we'll be all right next week.
This is New York State contract. It says it on
Yeah.
the second page of the John Deere quote.
Mhm.
For what it's worth, I can understand your appreciation of that dealer. I do a little bit of business with them. They're good.
All right,
Yep.
ready to go?
Mhm.
All right. Karen, Tony,
Okay, you have my report and Chris may want to at some point jump in on the short-term rentals, but before we get to that, we did advertise again for the alternate for the zoning board of appeals. Lori has given me an email that their office received from Sonia Harris, who is interested. So do you want to have the clerk's office reach out to her, and do you want to interview her at the agenda meeting, or do you want to do it at the next town board meeting? If we do it at the agenda meeting, then you can do the resolution at the next town board meeting, and then she can participate that month in the zoning board.
I believe I emailed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, see if she can come to the next agenda meeting.
Okay,
Now, I seem to recall at our last or next to last meeting, we decided to no longer differentiate between agenda meetings, and regular meetings.
all right.
you didn't vote
We
on
didn't
it
vote
in
on
the
it.
end.
Oh, we
You
didn't vote, huh?
talked about it, but you didn't vote on it.
Why would we differentiate it?
Because we're
Well,
paying
the
bills.
logic was is we've been passing resolutions at the agenda meeting, so why call it an agenda meeting?
Like pass resolutions at an agenda meeting.
Right.
Keep it an agenda. Keep it an agenda meeting. Maybe we should get back to what it was. Maybe that's the answer. Just a thought.
I don't want to speak for everybody, but I thought. at
That's
that
speak
point-
for yourself, so we all know.
I thought at that point we agreed to that. But you said we didn't vote, so my recollection is
No, we didn't. It
terribly wrong.
was just a discussion.
I thought you voted as well.
Right, I'll check.
Well, I didn't see the minutes, so I don't think.
So if I recall, it was your suggestion
Well, I didn't suggest
from a
that.
legal
I
standpoint.
just told you that you're kind of.
Making it into a regular meeting.
Right.
Yeah,
That it's
that's,
no longer an agenda meeting.
which goes to
You
my
need be
point,
careful about what.
which we didn't want to do from the beginning. I remember correctly, everybody said, we really don't want to do this. We should probably wait for the regular meetings, if we all remember that. You remember, and
Yeah.
you may. And now it's gotten to the point where we're doing business at agenda meetings. I'm just saying, we by choice have blurred the lines. It's not that, life, an event at the board. It's just, we chose to take that route of making it more than an agenda meeting. So it's
I'll
not
look at-
outside influences, it's we made that decision.
I'll look at the minutes from the previous meeting. You guys may have made that resolution.
Okay, so if
don't
we
recall.
didn't make it. Annie, how do you want to keep it? No, how do you feel, you know?
Well, I thought the agenda meeting was a good idea. Having it, everything set for the regular meeting to keep things moving smoothly. And having it at 4 o'clock, I would like to see the agenda meeting at 4 and the regular meeting at 7.
So keep it just strictly for agenda. No more resolutions or anything like that unless it's.
That's a
total
emergency like it was before.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because there's times when things come up that have
Yeah,
to be.
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of it came up the first 2 months of the year, changing things over. We had a lot to talk about, so. But all right, so that's the way. How about you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's keep it the same. I think I made my point.
okay, so
Ad
you want to
nauseam.
keep it an agenda meeting at
I'd
4
like to get
o'clock.
back to the original intent and with the understanding that things do happen.
Mhm.
And we need to discuss things sometimes and just like to keep it clear.
Jim, how do you feel?
I think we should switch to doing full business at both meetings, primarily because of one issue, which was paying bills.
You can still do the bills.
What's the difference?
We should go back to 7 o'clock at night.
That one helps.
So-
Bill.
so- Some of the bills, that Colleen has to pay, it's tough to do them once a month.
Well, can't we still do 2 bill pays even though it's an agenda meeting?
Mhm. Bills are bills. They gotta get
No,
paid.
you're-
That's not new
Well, bills
business.
take a resolution. What's the difference?
Okay,
It's a
she has
resolution.
Bills are boilerplate stuff that happens at a meeting.
Let's table this,
Let's just keep it like a way it was. We're getting a little off base.
get some case law on what an actual agenda meeting entails, and let's
Okay.
just see what is allowed.
Okay.
And we'll go from there.
All right.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan. So we'll know by next week. 'cause
That's why you make the big bucks.
That's right. Okay, so that Mary's gonna take care of it first.
Well, I'll bring you information, and you're gonna have to have a discussion again.
Okay,
Oh, shall I continue?
Yes.
all right,
please.
next, go ahead.
We received, Jim had sent on to us, a draft RFP that, Tracy Clothier has written up. Our next step is to take this draft and, Jim would like to meet with, John Krimsky, Chairman of the Planning Board, and Matt Palich, Chairman of the Zoning Board, and go through it, make sure that everything is being met, and then we'll take the next step beyond that. I don't know if it's to be reviewed by Mary. Yeah.
It's the draft RFP to hire the contractor to do our zoning update.
And then RFPs go through our office to be published and everything.
But this will be a formal. Out to
Unless, is Tracy gonna take care of that for you? Or
take care of what?
publishing and all of that, or
Oh,
no?
She doesn't.
I didn't ask her to.
Okay, she doesn't normally, no. It goes through our.
It should go through the town.
Yeah, we should have control of
But
it.
she's got something written up of what we should do.
We're kind of getting left out of some of that stuff
Yeah.
and then we get questions and we don't know.
Mm.
And it's supposed to go through our office, those types of things, bids and RFPs, et cetera, once you figure out what you want.
The other thing that I have is as a result of the workshop meeting that we had on the short-term rental local law, you have in front of you a drafted one with changes made on it. And if you want, you can look at it between now and the agenda meeting, and then at the agenda meeting, if you want, we can. Do we need, that's what we were discussing. Do we need to set the public hearing tonight or at the agenda meeting?
They can do
I think we're
either.
gonna set the public hearing
at
for,
the agenda.
yeah, we have enough time.
Well, so we'll just have to make sure it gets published 5 days before the public hearing.
All right.
You got a public hearing is for 5/7, right? 5/7,
So we're in April, right?
yeah.
So next week is the 16th.
I'll give you almost,
Yeah.
almost 3
I think
weeks.
we're good.
Mhm.
So Mary has has drafted up the resolution and also the notice of public hearing on that, so. If you want time to look it over, then we can do that at the agenda meeting and set the public hearing for the May meeting and.
Just make sure you look at the changes to make sure that they are.
What we
talked about.
discussed. The changes are in blue.
In blue,
so-
yeah.
So there's that, and and Chris, do you want to talk about short-term rental issues real quick?
Okay, so you'll see in your report, we've had a couple of new applications submitted to the office. And the violation notices, we've got 15 sent out, and 12 of those notices resulted in property owners responding to our office and are in process of obtaining a permit. 2 of those, at least 2, have rented out this weekend. They don't have a permit yet, but I could see on the rental review sites that they've rented out, so. Same 2 that we've had a problem with in the past, so. I wanted to bring that to your attention. Whether you want to pursue litigation against them or not, they were issued at least 1 or 2 violation notices each. And,
They're not responding.
well, they're in process of getting their permit, and, you know, in my email chain, I wrote to them. You know, for the time being, you cannot rent it out as a short-term rental, but they're still renting it. So,
I have authority to pursue this one, so I will write a letter.
Thank you. Yeah, I suggest we do that. Yeah,
Good.
there we go. So that's good. That's a good next step.
One we
There you go.
already talked about.
otherwise, you know, these 12 property owners are pursuing their permit and going through the steps. I've found a few zoning violations on the properties that they're in process of remedying. And that's one of these 2 that has rented out this last weekend. The other one's in the process of working things out with the county as far as something they need a permit from Warren County Building Codes for, but rented out this weekend as well. So. If you want more information on that, I'd be happy to provide it.
Is there one more that wasn't responding, or were those the only 2?
Well, there's 3 that haven't responded yet.
Yeah.
But the 2 who rented out this weekend have responded. Obtained an application. One of them has actually had an inspection done, but there were zoning violations on the property they have to remedy before I can issue a short-term rental permit.
Okay.
But they clearly rented out this past weekend. So. That's all I have to
Are
report.
they in the process of remedying those? Like, have they?
They've indicated that they'll work on it. I wasn't given a date, you know, I have to inspect it and make sure that it was resolved before I can issue my permit.
Right. I just didn't know if they submitted anything to go in front of the ZBA yet.
Nope. Okay, gotcha.
All right,
And the only other thing I have is that septic issue that we had going on 10 Church Street. After our last meeting, I sent him another letter stating that the board's position still was for them to get their septic inspected. And, he could perform whatever tests he wanted on his own, which he has done. He's indicated that he's done the dye test. But the direction of the board was to get the septic inspected so that we could start there and, go from there with knowing whether or not his system was a working system. I expected him to either be here tonight or to be on Zoom. He indicated that he wanted to talk to the board about it. He doesn't feel he should have to pay to have his septic inspected, that it should be a town issue. He asked for a copy of the septic ordinance, which I sent to him electronically. And he claims that after reading it, that it states in there that you're not supposed to have pooling septic water on your property and that the town should do something about that, and that the septic ordinance gives me permission to go on property if there are issues. And I explained to him that I've been told by our attorney that even though that ordinance gives us permission to go onto these properties, that it doesn't give us a constitutional right, and it can be challenged in court for us to go on these properties. So we've got to follow the correct steps to remedy this. It's not something that we can just go on a whim and fix. You've got to follow the process.
So what's our next,
I'm waiting for him to get his septic inspected.
and how long have you been waiting for?
This letter I sent to him was March 27th. The original letter was March 20th.
Okay, so we're coming up on a month out
Mhm.
from,
I really expected him to be here tonight, but he isn't here.
Have you talked to him since that letter?
Yes, that's why I expected him to be here tonight. He
Yeah.
still doesn't want to do that. And he did do the test, and he says he's got, video of it. He waited, was it
2 days. We told him it could take up to 5 days for the dye to reveal itself, according to our research. But he administered the dye on a Saturday, called us on a Monday, letting us know that he did this. Took a videotape, photographed. Didn't provide them to us yet, but again, like Karen said, we thought he was gonna be here to,
Well, the point
Check out the
is that depending on what the next step is, if he gets his system tested, and if the next step is to do a dye test, I'm not sure that it's up to the owner to do the dye test. I don't know. We've got to just follow the process, and he hasn't done the first step yet. But I
okay,
just wanted to let you know where we stood on it.
and the DOH as well as Warren County Soil and Water indicated they wanna be here for the dye test when it's done.
If, you're right.
If that's the course that it takes, they're not required to be there, but they wanna be there for.
Did
Training
they offer
purposes.
any insight as to their opinion as to what this process should be?
No,
No,
I mean, there is no legal process. This
Yeah.
doesn't have to be a town issue. I mean, it's up
That's-
to you whether you wanna make it a town issue, but it's private property. It's his property. He needs to figure out if it's his system or he needs to talk to his neighbors. I mean, this
Yeah.
is a private property.
civil between two, yeah,
Yes.
I think we should keep it there.
That's what I was wondering.
Yes.
Don't kick a beehive you don't have to kick. Don't get involved,
They had indicated initially they were gonna hire their own attorney and then didn't. So I think they just don't wanna take on the cost of
Mm,
taking care of it themselves.
Right. There's really 3 or 4 houses in play there.
Yeah.
Could be any one of them.
and I will say that the scope of the board asked for a septic inspection to be done, but a septic inspection can vary in the amount of investigation that's done as far as digging it up, scoping it out, and from my understanding, it's up to the septic company to define what a septic inspection is. So I suppose, he did indicate he got a very high estimate for a septic inspection.
Most of them just involve a pump out and a visual, it's more detailed, I'm sure, but
Maybe
Sure.
septic inspection is too nebulous of a,
What is high?
he said about $1,000.
That's crazy.
They're about 400 or 500,
Yeah.
like, yeah, like 400 or 500 bucks.
Now in like George, where they had, short-term rentals that had to conform to New York State wastewater standards. Some of these properties had to get dug up to confirm the location of the distribution box or the treatment field. And that, I could see that costing in that ballpark.
Yeah, Lake George has a very specific septic inspection law.
Yeah.
So,
Because of the lake
yes.
Right.
and because of the E. coli issue they've had over the years and years and years. They're very strict.
Well, I wanted to just inform you as to what was still going on,
Okay.
okay?
Do we wanna redirect Karen a little bit or not?
Well, as far as Mary said, it being a civil issue.
Yeah.
It's just like Karen said, the process, does the process even have to be involved if it's a civil issue between neighbors? That is what we need to decide.
Yeah, cause I assume right now you haven't used words verbally or in writing that say, not these words exactly, but that say, this really isn't the town's problem,
I don't have that in writing.
right? And it hasn't been discussed or anything.
I think that's a legal, like Mary says, this is a legal issue of civil. It's, I don't know if it's so much it would be in writing, it's just, that's just the way it is, right? It's a civil issue,
Yes.
from your point of view.
I'm just wondering if we want to tell the resident that, so that.
But not see like we're blowing them off.
Solve their problem.
Yeah, but not, I don't want them to feel like we're blowing them off just because we're not.
Yeah,
But have them in the know of their rights, and this is as a town, our rights, and as them as. Getting along civilly, they gotta hammer this out to where our borderline is and we can't step across it.
should we tell them?
We need to
that
make sure our
formally?
borders are clear.
Should we tell them that formally, in your opinion?
I would. Draft a letter. That's the town's opinion. Lay it out in a nice. Firm, concise way, but not to get into the weeds with it, but just say, listen, we'd like to
What do you
keep
think?
it a
Ian?
civil issue between neighbors.
Well, following what Mary's saying, it's a civil issue. I think we don't need to overstep our boundaries. We should stick with what we need to do.
I would actually be concerned that we might be getting ourselves in trouble to overstep our boundaries.
But not necessarily trouble, more sticky grief than we really
Yeah.
need to get our nose wrapped around to. This paperwork, just trouble.
Who's gonna write the letter?
I think I should.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just gonna go there.
What do you think, Mr. Supervisor?
You know, we're caught in the middle.
Yeah,
We don't wanna be, and we don't wanna
wanna
be.
be. But, you know, I was working with Chris last week. And we're trying to scope it out. It's 2 other properties there that could be the problem. Do
Okay.
we send them a letter to do a dye test? No, okay.
They have.
Because they were getting into the ledges and everything, that downtown, it's just such a.
Mhm. Karen, how do you feel
It's
about
tough.
that?
I support whatever you decide you want to do. I was at a loss as to how to do anything anyway, so.
In your opinion, that's where we're at with it. You're at a loss, we are at a loss what to do with it.
so this would kind of be taking a path
Take the
Mhm.
back, take that load off you,
to some place.
put it where it
Right.
needs to go.
I
Okay.
mean, practically speaking, to even go on these neighbors' properties, we have to seek a warrant from the court. And what am I gonna say to the court? You have someone who is claiming they
Got a
have
mud puddle in the backyard.
Yeah.
sewage on their lawn and we need to go onto these people's property. And I mean, I just don't see practically how this goes anyway.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, let's do that, Nice little letter,
I think
say,
that's a-
figure it out, people.
That's all I have.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Karen. All right, Councilwoman.
Annie? I'm good right now. Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Hanlon,
I have nothing in front of me right now. I'm good.
Councilman Niles,
You're gonna talk about the things that are on my list, so I guess.
Oh.
One little thing, at our meeting, Tuesday night, Councilman Tim, myself and Councilman Dane kind of volunteered to start working on the employee manual, so I'll keep you posted on that.
Yeah, Jim's gonna get some the bullet points to it that we.
Yeah.
Dive into that, I guess.
Um, I think you're talking about everything else, right?
I only have a couple of things. All right, if I don't
Give me
mention,
a
what-
chance to come back if it's
Yeah,
not on your
yeah.
list.
You want me to go first?
well, yeah, that's what I got. Deputy Clerk here.
We've given you our March clerk report. We're reconciling up taxes now. We're due to go to the county and hand everything in on the 12th. We are going to need a resolution by the May 7th meeting to set the rate for Hudson Grove Water. Colleen and I were talking about it the other day. She feels that you are going to have to increase that again, because it should have been increased more than it was last year. But she's getting numbers together for everyone, and she'll be getting that to you soon so that you can look everything over. But we send the bills out May 15th, so I'm gonna need a resolution for that rate set by the 7th.
And one thing, you must know that we have no control over what Corinth charges us for the water in that district.
This is what it
It's
is.
getting quite high. so. Okay, anything else, Lori?
No, I think that's it for tonight.
Okay,
We want to change the disc from.
yep. You're next. Nancy. Yeah, I'm not sure. Why would we talk about the health? We would read them. Telling me that a couple of candidates, we just gotta have the second,
Yeah,
meeting, but we want everybody here.
yeah, because Andy was on vacation,
And I was out too.
so only two of us that are here now participated in that process.
And it's in there, yeah, it is in there. Yeah,
One of those
it's there.
files.
Yes, it's in there. You got it in today's packet. It's probably below that. Just take your time. It's multiple ones too, it's stapled together.
Okay, we're rolling
I
again.
know. I know, my whole life.
That's the big-
No, I'm trying to, okay, no, I'm just saying, I mean, I'm not.
We're rolling.
Yeah.
We're live, Gene.
Okay, we're back. Mary, you're up.
I don't have anything. I just had the short-term rental revisions, but we talked about it. with
Okay.
Karen's report.
All right. In case I miss anything, please let me know. You all got a report about a week ago. Jim Niles and I went out. As you know, as we all know, we're having major problems with garbage. I mean, I call it major. Last week, there was a big battle going on. Somebody put a lot of human feces in a plastic thing, and it was dumped in our truck. And when it got compacted, it got broken, squirted all over the guys, and we have pictures of it. And I notified the property owner. It was a trailer park. I'm not gonna say which one. And he was very good, nice, and he was in someplace out of the country. And he did email me yesterday, but I haven't gotten back to him to discuss it. But we went out and looked, and I think you all got a copy of it, so I'm not talking out. We found this, we had a big program on this about 2 years ago, and it kind of worked really well, a little battle, but it kind of worked well on some of these places that, we have 17 businesses, campgrounds or so on, all the businesses that have their own containers. They're paying it and we don't pick up their garbage. We have 20 that Jim and I looked at that we feel probably most of them need to get that done. What's happening is, you take these, like these hotels that are now renting by the year and stuff. They're putting out 10, 12, 14 barrels of garbage. This one over here, we counted 13, I counted. You know, and our ordinance says, and I have it, the ladies went after and got it 2 years ago. A business could put out 6 containers and a private home could put out 3. So we either gotta go after these people and get everybody because it's getting outrageous the amount we pay for the garbage we pick up.
Yeah, I looked over that list and it's high time.
You know, I think it's time.
I
I mean,
think it is.
we
I
can
think we
go
should.
talk to the ones that have to get it. It's especially not some of the small, but especially the trailer parks.
Yeah.
They're really bad. And a couple of these motels, really bad.
Yeah, because those are concentrations of residents and
Yeah.
it's under one umbrella, one owner.
Yeah, well,
So
that's,
it's kind of like a,
yeah, so
kinda
that's
like a
not-
business.
You gotta
One
understand.
taxpayer putting up 20
Yeah.
barrels.
yeah.
Yeah, years ago, I mean, way before any of us, including myself, they picked up garbage by parcel. You know, each property was a parcel. And over the years, it's just gotten the parcels, some of them gotten 2 and 3 times. So if you have a family with a husband and a wife, or maybe just one gentleman or one old elderly woman, they're paying the same amount in their taxes as one of these trailer parks that have 20 trailers in it. And so it's just gotten out of hand. We've been fighting it for a couple of years, but it's getting,
Well, I think it's
And-
high time to modernize it then.
well,
Add
and
them on
what
to,
people are throwing in the garbage is unbelievable. I mean, and I got the pictures, you don't want to look at them.
No.
I mean, that truck was messed up, the guys were messed up, and it's just not fair to them.
not
So,
hygienic.
we know who it is, thanks to Chris. That when we were looking at the picture, there was a little,
Don't you?
a no, a
Don't you.
little bottle of
Don't-
pills, no
Okay,
pills.
jeez.
He blew it up enough and we got the name of the person. And when I called the trailer park owner, he said he's trying to evict those people.
Okay,
So-
I like the idea. Is Mary, do we need to come up as a board to address the issue in town, like a cover
To
letter?
enforce it.
Yeah, enforce it, yeah.
Well, the regulations now, we can,
That's what I'm saying. Let's enforce what.
if a business puts out
Yeah.
10 barrels, we have the right to only pick up 6.
What,
But I like to notify them. That's
notify them the angles, they should have a private contract come
Right,
for
right.
dumpsters, and they need to step up the game.
So that's what I think we should
Okay.
have a letter go out.
Why don't you attach the regulations?
Yes.
to
Yeah,
say
you know,
These are going to
right,
be enforced.
right.
Here they are.
Well, that's what we did 2 years ago. When I read it, we gave them, I think we did it in June and we gave them till September 1st. And every one of them did it. One didn't have capability of having it done. But I think it's time. It's time, especially with trailer parks and these businesses that have 10, 12, 14 barrels.
Just the garbage volume meets the requirement
That's-
alone, period, even if it's a business.
I'm sensing some ambiguity here. I think we want to encourage them to get their own dumpsters.
Yes.
Yeah, yes,
But I
yes.
don't think our existing regulation requires that.
Oh, yes, it does. It says only 6 barrels for business, period. We pulled it out today.
Maybe
think
the
Ken's
letter
saying
should
that
say
doesn't-
Something along the
you know.
lines, if you cannot meet those requirements,
You need
you
to
will
get
have
your
to
own.
make other arrangements.
Right.
for-
That's what I'm saying. That's what
Something
it's
like
all-
that.
I think that's what I was getting at. Maybe we need to revisit, come up with, let's get this,
Send out the resolution that we had about 2 years ago. And if they don't start doing that.
maybe we need to update our garbage law.
Mm.
Maybe, no, seriously, maybe we need to do that and
That's
just tweak it a little bit.
that's where I was headed.
The dumpsters,
Because it has grown in the last 4 or 5 years.
absolutely.
The amount of garbage we get out of this town, but the town has grown
And looking
also.
forward, like we've been thinking
You know,
about, it
so-
meets the projected path on the road.
So I'm just bringing this up.
No matter what, it's Band-Aid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well.
better than we got now, I'll tell you, it's,
Yeah.
it's,
It'll stop a little bleed.
That's, even if half the people get the dumpsters, and then we stick to the 6 barrels for business people, well, it would help a lot. All right, so we'll get a letter together, maybe we'll work on it, let Mary see it, and get it out. They're not gonna be happy, but,
Well,
it's nothing
So
that
are
we
we
wanna
sending a
do.
letter out to everyone or just
No, just
businesses?
these, well, the people that we picked that had enough garbage that needed
high volume.
high volume.
Hang on.
And a couple of them could come in, we can have a meeting and have a grievance on it and, let them understand why we're doing it. Because most people don't understand why we did it 2 years ago and it was a battle then. But after 3 months, it calmed right down, and everything's rolling along. We have 17 businesses have dumpsters.
Do we have a list of individuals that are over limit also? Or is it just the businesses that are over limit?
It's basically well, it's not only businesses, it's the campgrounds,
Well, that would be a business.
The ones
Right?
Yes.
drove around and looked at the other day were just.
Yeah,
Just
we just did the businesses.
Yeah, if they're not on here, we did.
But there's no coming from the men that are picking it up or receiving it.
Yeah.
Are they seeing, oh, well, this resident has 13?
Oh, yeah, no,
It's
they're
just,
seeing the amount of garbage,
Like a little bit.
And once you get too much garbage, truck has to go down and dump it in the landfill, that's time, money. And
so basically what we need to do is send out 20 letters. Is that what you're saying?
probably so, yes. And we could set a date that if they want to come in and have a little grievance with us and maybe explain to us why they can't do it.
It's gotta be like a pretty firm line.
But yeah, it's gotta
You
be.
gotta
firm.
change, it has to change. You can't go, well, you and not you, and then you. Good God,
I wouldn't invite.
No.
no,
Okay.
I don't need to go through that.
All right. All right, so we'll work on that and see if we can have a report for you
Yeah.
next week. What was one more thing, I think? Oh, I got a letter just today at 4:00. The folk school would like us to put on our webpage. They have a grant. For anybody that's in the public, they can't afford to go to their classes. And they will pay half of it or a portion. So they just want people to know if they want to come to one of their classes and say it's $100, they could probably get it down to 50 because they got grant money and they keep it going, so they don't lose the grant money. So I think it's a good idea, so I'll show you the letter. I just got it at 4:00 today.
Hey, Gene, Patricia Goldberg just put her hand up when you said that. You want to hear what she has to say?
They have the floor open to the public at the end.
All right, let me finish this stuff and then we'll get back to Patricia, so we
Okay.
don't get confused here. And the last that Brian got me today, he's gonna write up a thing, the Jeep is not worth fixing that we're using for the water travel. Transmission's almost gone, needs brakes, blah, blah, blah. So we have to sit down and try to figure out how we can get another vehicle. Now, question on vehicles, it's always been a battle. When we try to get new ones, I understand it has to go out to bid. But if we can get one that's used and 10,000, you still have to go out to bid, a used one,
We
under the procurement policy?
put a paragraph in our new procurement policy.
Yeah, but there was a limit on it. I thought there was a.
Yeah, there's a limit and we said something like we gotta verify the price using the blue book or something. The top of like page 2 or 3.
For the purchase of any used vehicle which costs between $1 and $20,000. Full town board approval is required as well as verification of the price through Kelly Blue Book or Edmunds.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't want to go that high for a used vehicle, but so we can go out and look for a used vehicle and come back to the board. If they approve it under the procurement policy, it'd be good. We don't have to bid it.
Correct.
Okay,
You don't ever have to bid it.
well, we had to
under-
bid a couple of years ago on everything we did, so. But the new procurement policy, I think, allows us to spend 10,000.
20.
Well, I'm just saying, that's all I'm looking to spend.
Yeah.
For what we need. I don't need
And look up book value just
Yeah.
to confirm that it's a fair price.
okay, that's good. So we can look into that. Then we could put the Jeep out.
Set up
Hmm?
because of the problems we had during COVID trying to
Yeah.
get a truck.
Yeah,
You know how many we missed.
all right. Postal Jeep, that's all I have.
You can also look on state contract and then you can purchase.
Yeah, used, they have used ones, huh? Okay. I'll get that taken care of. And that's all I think I have.
Okay, I did forget one thing.
Go ahead.
As you know, we had a board meeting Tuesday night. Went into a executive session to do job interviews, and we have three good candidates, I think. And we would recommend. So as soon as Dane is back, I would recommend that we make some decisions.
You're gonna, all three, you're gonna.
Yes, we decided. Yes,
Is it-
that's been the plan all along.
All three, or just take the, I thought it was 2 out of the 3. but-
It was our understanding, based upon our discussions, that we would possibly have 2 full-time and 1 part-time. The 2 potential full-time are experienced veteran. Middle-aged guys, the potential part-time,
And
Is it
they know what the
lad?
job entails.
yes. The potential part-time is 18-year-old.
Fresh,
school
he's a
fellow.
junior, I think. He's good candidate.
Good attitude, so he makes sense
Yep.
to be part-time.
They're all good.
All right, so
I don't know when Dane's back.
we're hoping he's back for next Tuesday. and we'll do
I'll
it
try to
then.
find out tonight when he's back.
All right,
Checking emails, he's fucking email, I should.
I don't know.
Everybody's got a phone, so.
He didn't say he wasn't gonna be here for that meeting. I think he would have told us already.
You would,
Yeah.
yeah. you would.
we knew he wasn't gonna be at it.
And on that, today, Rick, I heard him telling Colleen that he thought it was 2 part-timers and 1 full-time. So I don't.
I thought that's, I
I
actually
just wanna
thought that's
bring
what
up
it
you
was.
guys.
I kind of thought that's what it was too, or no. We'll have to-
Let's get this straight.
Yeah.
Before Monday,
Mhm.
Yeah,
Tuesday.
I'll talk to Rick tomorrow.
All right. Anything else on the board?
Patricia.
Anything else on this board?
Yes.
Patricia.
All right. So we're back open to the public again. Any other questions, comments?
You wanna start with?
Yes,
Patricia on
procedure,
Zoom?
right?
All right, let me unmute her.
Okay, I have 2 things.
Go ahead, Patricia. Thank you.
sorry. I have 2 things. One is, a while ago, before I left for Florida, I mentioned the scholarships, the folk school scholarship at a town board meeting, and someone, I think it might have been Jim Niles, suggested that I send something in. And I wrote something up and sent it into Jamie. And last time I checked, it was already on the town board website. I haven't checked recently, maybe it's come off.
That's the scholarship you're talking about.
The scholarship, right?
Okay.
She wouldn't have taken it off unless somebody told her to.
And
Huh.
probably it's still there. I just haven't looked for it for a little while.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that. But this
And
is,
this-
this is another request, not a scholarship. It's a request to get people to come and take some classes. And it's mainly for people that really can't afford the prices, that they have some money they can help them with.
Right, that's it. The scholarship does not come from the town. It comes from, I think, the Adirondack Foundation.
Right.
And so it's not limited to Lake Luzerne residents or anything like that, but last time I checked, it was on the town board website.
Yeah.
The second thing I have, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, is that the Ethics Committee currently has 5 people. And one of them, Roberta Vanderzee, has given her notice that she will be leaving April 22nd or earlier if we find a replacement. I might have found a replacement, I'm not sure yet, but if not, then we have to hire someone else. We have to appoint someone else.
Okay.
That's it.
No,
Thank you.
you know who is it you, Annie? Resigning? Do we know who the person is?
Roberta.
Roberta Vanderzee.
I'm sorry. Okay. All right.
You're still on it.
Yeah, Annie's still on. All right, so we'll have to look for somebody.
Okay, I might have someone, but he was out of the country when I contacted him, so I'll see if he was interested once before, but then he didn't apply because we already had 5.
All right, well, can we wait until you find out, or we'll put it on the
Sure.
internet and see if we can get somebody else?
Okay, sure.
Mr. Reed show any interest in joining or volunteering for the ethics board?
Who?
Mr.
Mr.
Reed,
Reed.
I haven't heard anything.
Okay. Just checking.
Okay, thank you, Patricia.
You're welcome.
Anybody else out there? All right. No other hands?
You want,
Go ahead. Nobody else is raising their hand.
and it's what she was just talking about, actually. So the ethics committee, I had a couple questions about like what its function is. Since your attorney is here, it's probably a good time to ask it, like, what is the main function of the ethics committee? Like, what types of complaints are they supposed to take? Just ones that deal with the code of ethics, or just anything that somebody thinks is unethical, they can talk to the ethics committee about?
I'm counsel to you guys. I'm not counsel to him, so you have those questions, that's fine, but this isn't a Q&A.
Okay, all right, sorry. That's my question though, like I had a complaint that I made to the ethics committee and they worked with me on it, but I wasn't really sure. So I guess that's a question to you guys, what I just asked. Is it just like, and I haven't even seen your code of ethics because it's not like online or anything, and I haven't foiled you or anything before it, but I don't even know what it says. So just in general though, what is the function of the ethics committee? Are they supposed to take any sort of complaint? Or what types of complaints are they supposed to take? I mean, 2 of you are on it.
Yes. So if the board decides it's an ethics, something to do with, I guess it would, I've never had to deal with something with it in the ethics committee yet so far. We've had nothing come in front of us that we figured was an ethical violation. That's the only thing I can tell you.
Well, yeah, I guess that's the question. What makes something an ethical violation?
Stealing money. I mean, the obvious.
Did
I
you
mean,
have
we
it-
could
is-
sit here all night and do this.
Okay, but is it,
You know what I
is
mean?
it written out
It's an
somewhere?
open-ended question. What's unethical? How long's a piece of string? I don't
Okay,
know.
if that's what
You know
it
what I
is,
mean? I'm just.
I do know what you mean, but
I don't know. It's case by case basis. I think.
What I know, and I don't, not on it, a person should write a letter to the ethics board. Then they will hold a meeting
okay,
and come up and write back saying, this is not what we feel is unethical, or it is what,
Yeah.
we'll move forward.
Case by case, you know what I mean? That's it.
Case by case.
okay,
You would present something to us and we may at the board, and then as the board, we may say, this is, you need to. This is an ethical thing, so maybe you need to look at it that way, and then. I would assume that's the way it goes.
okay.
I'm not a professional lawyer, so don't expect anything like that from me.
Well,
Common
usually
working man.
it'll be like,
You're stealing something, you're taking government property, I mean, town property. It's a small town.
So
We're
it's
not
not-
gonna get into
it's
the,
not just you're enforcing the code of ethics. It could be something outside of something that's specifically noted in your code of ethics. It's just something.
if it comes up and you're like, hey, if you notice something. You know, something that. Someone in the town's doing or something, and you can refer, and we can point to a specific section of the. Town law or anything like that that's happening. And then it gets, or something organic like that develops into something
All right.
more. Then we say, yeah, ooh, there's something here.
Cause I did, I mean, I actually sent something to the ethics committee. I mean, I don't know if you
Mhm.
saw it or not.
Yeah,
but-
we went over it and they weren't. We as a board did not feel there were ethical problems that would involve the ethics committee or anything that was ethical.
Okay.
That was just, like I said, I'm not a lawyer. But-
Cause actually it got done what I wanted to because we talked
Okay.
about the topic tonight.
Yep.
So, but as far as the ethics committee was concerned, that's not the type of complaint that you would.
Yes, I
normally-
think that was the consensus. I think we looked at it and it was determined, we're like, that's not really an ethical issue.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and the other thing that I told somebody that I would bring up it was like the composition of the ethics committee, like. You can do, I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong. Cause you can do a couple different things, but it's just. I noted this to the ethics committee and I was told that maybe I should bring it up here
Mhm.
in front of the board, like. The composition of the ethics committee is now, and if one of the public left, that's actually 2 and 2, so you no longer even have a majority
Mhm.
of people outside.
I
of-
believe, because I remember you were talking about that one in particular, and we discussed that in New York State states, we may have more than one board member. It's an area like, it's a kind of like a great, you may do that.
Right,
Now, if,
but the majority is supposed to be non-executives and non-employees, the majority.
but yeah, so the original content of the ethics board, before we just found this out tonight.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, so
Yeah.
we were in the right because there was no rule that says we can't have 2 board members.
exactly. You're right, right. And that's what I was trying to say. You
Yeah, it
weren't
was like a
doing
little
anything
gray area
wrong,
right there. You
But
know?
it's a little weird when somebody has a complaint.
Mhm.
And most of the complaints, I think, are gonna be about executives. I
Mm.
mean, board members, either the planning board, because you guys are the ones making all the decisions. So it's either gonna
Sure,
be like the
absolutely,
town
yeah.
board, the planning board.
I guess
or
wouldn't that be
like-
matter like if someone was directly involved in it? They'd have to recuse themselves. They'd
Yeah,
have to
I
just say,
mean,
listen, this involves me. Mum's the word. I got nothing to say about this. Talk amongst yourselves.
okay,
As supervisor has, it was a something with the STRs. Because he is a business owner that does stuff. There's a lot of stuff he had to recuse himself from. He couldn't talk about it out of ethics. It wasn't ethical for him to involve himself in it. You know what I mean? And that was played out in front of us with him. To his credit, he said, listen, I need to sit back on this. I need to abstain from this because it involved him.
so if there's a complaint about a board member, do you guys recuse yourself from it since you're on the board?
I guess it's case by case, right? Yeah. If it involved me,
No,
if you had a
it's
problem,
all
no, I'm
the-
just saying a board member. Let's just use me as an example.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to. I can't make a decision against myself or for myself.
But what if it's not you? What if it's somebody else on the board?
If it was me, I would also accuse myself.
And if it's ethics committee,
it's
or someone on the board,
If it's somebody else on the.
then
board,
it's got legs. Because that watches the board, the ethics committee, correct? So if you saw something you thought was unethical, we take a look at it. And if it was someone on the board, that's what it's for. If it's interaction with the board or something like that,
Right. but
it also involves that as long as town business.
If
as
it was
far as I
about
know.
the town supervisor who's on the board. And then that's not you, and that's not you, would
Mhm.
you recuse yourself from that?
I wouldn't because
Okay.
we're 5. He
I'm saying
chairs
I have
it.
to.
I'm only one, right?
Yeah, and he's only one. We're all only one person.
Okay,
Yeah.
just,
Does that help you? It's kind of convoluted. It gets a little.
it gets more confusing when
Sure.
there's executives, when there's town board members also on the ethics committee. And that's kind of what some of the stuff I was talking to the chair of the ethics committee about.
It was your
You-
position. You just didn't think that was too. And I get
It's,
your point
it's
of view.
strange when,
I
to me,
understand.
if I have a complaint about somebody on the board, if there's board members that are on the ethics committee. And there's, there's reasons, there's people that are supporting, I'm not gonna bring up specific associations or anything, but it's common for people to not have board members on the ethics committee just because it is a little weird when people
That's
have
not,
complaints.
that's not a
That's-
factual statement.
that's
You
not true.
gave 2 examples out of how many towns and villages in New York State. So it's not,
Can you give me one example?
I gave you the law. the
Can you
law,
give me
the
one
right and the
example?
law.
Can you give me one example of a town that has,
Every
board-
town but the 2 you named.
give me one?
Every
I
village.
couldn't find one.
Yes, Lake Luzerne. There you go.
Can you give me one other than Lake Luzerne?
Every town and village except for the 2 you named.
That's also not true because every town and village doesn't have to have an ethics committee.
You're right, it doesn't, but everyone that does. What's your agenda? You have an agenda. Why don't you just tell us what the agenda is and we can try to reach.
Yeah,
some
well,
sort
I
of
brought it-
Solution for you.
I brought it up with the ethics committee. I said I didn't think it was appropriate for there to be executives or
You have
employees.
to go to your state representative and ask them to change the law. We told you that. So go do that. Matt Simpson, Dan Steck.
I don't need to
Elise
change the law. Like, yeah, you did tell me that, but that makes no sense to me. Like,
Then
you,
go to law
you
school and
have the
study
ability.
law,
You
and then
have,
You can have that
the
opinion.
town board has the ability to
They
say
don't.
that they
The
will.
state law says they are required to have one town. Shake your head all you want.
That's not accurate. I mean, it's not accurate. The state law, and I mean,
You
I don't know.
obviously have an agenda and nothing I say is gonna change your mind, so this is pointless.
Well, what
It
you're
seems to me
saying,
that we
I
can
think
have-
you should, I
Well,
think you should
hold
get a
on,
second
Brad.
opinion of what she just said,
Right.
because it's not accurate.
Right, is it, in your opinion, is it true or not that we can have two town board members on the ethics committee?
Can you? Yes.
Okay, and that's what we decided to do.
Okay, and I was just trying to bring up that you didn't have to do that. You don't have to have one.
The town board chose to put two
Okay.
town board people on that committee.
Okay,
Okay, now for me personally, as one town board member, if we got volunteers that are interested in being on that committee, I will certainly listen to them. But we chose the board we have and we were within our rights to do that.
right. You are definitely within your rights to do that. But I was just bringing up that you don't have to. I don't agree with what she's saying.
Right now, again, speaking for myself as a councilman, we aren't gonna change it.
Okay,
We don't
yeah,
have a list
that's
of
fine.
people that want to replace any of them.
Okay,
And we
Okay.
are looking. Patricia's already putting out the fielders. I mean, if you were interested,
no, I'm not interested.
Okay.
Just wanted to bring up the fact that you can have 4 and 1 of people from the public in just one officer. Or you could have, to my knowledge, you can have 5 and 0. And
So-
that's,
So both outcomes, by two on the
it's
board.
independence. That's
Yeah.
that's,
I understand in transparency
idea
is what you're
behind
saying.
Yeah.
Now, both outcomes are correct.
yes. I wasn't
Can
sure
we-
you were
can
aware
we-
of the.
Can we
second
agree,
possibility.
can we agree to say that the best outcome possibly could maybe just one council member?
I think the best outcome is.
Could you
none.
say, is that? Well,
She's
I
saying
know,
one half.
I know you're saying, but we're going against the state says we can. Now,
Yes.
in a perfect world, none would be on there in your vision of the ethics board, which I get that, but that's not the reality of it.
Okay,
That's just not the reality of it right now.
and if we had an abundance amount of people interested, I mean, I have no problem stepping down from the Board of Ethics. Okay, I mean, I have been on the Board of Ethics for the last 10 years. But I wasn't on this board. Therefore, Tim was brought onto the Board of Ethics because we wanted a board member on there to relay.
okay,
When I got put on this board, I did send in my resignation for that board because I was a chair. And at that time, we did check with our attorney and she said that I don't need to come off the board, just it's not, they prefer me not to be the chair. I do exactly what was asked.
okay.
Okay, now losing another board member, it does put us in a tight spot because now we're down to 3,
Or
4. Thank you, Patricia. So if we do have more people come on, I mean, of course, we want a full board. I have no problem at all stepping down. I mean, I give whatever I can.
Yeah.
But the last thing I want to do is to offend you or anyone else by being on a board.
Yeah,
To
I mean,
volunteer something that's gonna hurt someone because I happen to be there, that's not what my goal is.
yeah, I said what I'd say, and honestly, I couldn't think of a more ethical person just by the way you talk than what you are. But you're a board member, so that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. I don't think either of you are unethical. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying like for somebody who's gonna make a complaint, it would just be easier if, especially if the complaint's about the town board, if the person wasn't, none of the people were on the town board, but you're perfectly allowed to do what you're doing. I just wanted to say that because I've been talking to the ethics committee about it and she said it's really up to
But
you
you
guys.
also have to remember, one parting thought I just had, there's also people who aren't on the board, on the ethics board, who would
Yes.
say, hey, they raise a flag and say, hey, this isn't right. You need to reconvene another board because we feel this is unethical to have them too. And so there's counterpoints on the ethics board. You mean, they may sit there and say, well, there's a conflict of interest with Councilman Hanlon. You also got civilians sitting there. You got people on the other side of the line saying this, and they may see your point of view on something. So it would take care of itself. They're not
Okay.
going to go along with us because we say we
Right,
something.
absolutely
You got
not.
independent people they're gonna hold us accountable.
This is their
So,
town.
Yeah, this is their town too.
They
So they're
want-
not gonna
they
let
want
us
it done
meet
right.
sit there and stonewall or sandbag for somebody. It's not
Okay.
gonna happen. That's not gonna happen.
All right,
I can't get away with that. No one could.
I said what I gotta say, and
Thank you.
Thanks,
I don't
Brandon.
think we're
Appreciate
doing
it.
anything
Thank you.
specific.
I
You
appreciate
sure you don't want to be? Ellen?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I am sure.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
All right, anybody else? Motion to adjourn?
I make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.